Today we're tackling a common pitfall that many learning photographers face: blur versus focus. The core concept here is that blur is a function of time and focus is a function of space. Time and space are different dimensions, and blur and focus are different elements within photography affected by different factors. Blur is caused by movement over time. If your subject is moving and your shutter speed isn't high enough to freeze the action, you've got a blurry subject. Or, if you move your camera and your shutter speed isn't high enough to prevent camera shake, you'll end up with a blurry image. Focus is determined by the distance between the camera and the subject, influenced by properties of the lens. An out-of-focus image is the result of the subject being outside the focal plane of the lens. Let's look at some examples to clarify blur and focus, aka time and space. Here we have blur because movement was not frozen by a high shutter speed. Here also is blur, but this time it's caused by camera shake. And here we are looking at a subject that's out of focus. Here we have a subject that is in focus with no blur. The background is slightly out of focus. And here we have a subject and background in focus with no blur. Differentiating between blur and focus is critical for learning photography. If you can't identify whether your issue is blur or focus, you won't know what to adjust on your camera to fix your problem. Remember, focus and blur, like time and space, are different things. With this in mind, let's take a look at panning shots and blur. Set a slow shutter speed, maybe around 1/30th of a second, and adjust it from there. You'll probably need to play more with your f-stop than you normally do. Just be prepared for the depth of field change. Move your camera smoothly with your subject. This technique will take a lot of practice sometimes. Thanks for watching. If you got this far in the video, why not hit subscribe?